In the world of sports, this Monday morning, Chelsea set up a second Wembley meeting with Liverpool this season as they overcame Crystal Palace's stubborn resistance to reach the FA Cup final. Liverpool won the Carabao Cup final on penalties in February, but Chelsea will have the chance for revenge as second half goals from Ruben, Loftus-Cheek and Mason Mount underlined their supremacy. Unlike the first semi-final between Liverpool and Manchester City, chances were at a premium until substitute Loftus-Cheek on for the injured Mateo Kovacic broke the deadlock with a deflected shot after 65 minutes. Palace had the opportunities. Chelsea goalkeeper Edouard Mendy saving well from Chekua Kyote in the first half, but they could not come back after Mount slipped a low finish beyond Jack Butland with 14 minutes left. Where you could say the Senegalese indeed showed that he was really good. I'm talking about Edouard Mendy, and not forgetting to you have other players as well who proved their prowess. Well, joining me this morning to take a look at the setup for the FA Cup final where Chelsea will be taking on Liverpool, I've got Tega on Ojaife this morning. Good morning to you, Tega. Great to be here this morning on Breakfast Central.
Good morning, Joe.
All right.
Great to be here too. Yes.
I know I had to drag you off from the bed this morning. I mean, let's talk about the game itself. Let's look at Chelsea versus Liverpool in the finals. What are your take on this one?
Well, time for revenge for the Blues, because that League Cup defeat against Liverpool was horrible. But they get a second opportunity against Liverpool. However, Liverpool are in very good form. The way they took out Manchester City, I actually did think that Manchester City would be suffering from the midweek match they had against Atletico Madrid. That match drained them physically, psychologically, mentally, in every way it drained them, especially with the scuffle after the match. And so for Manchester City to be able to send out players to play against Liverpool, it was always going to be tough. And the first 45 minutes against Liverpool showed it when Liverpool went ahead by 3 goals. But they did well to fight back in the second half. However, they lost by 3-2. So Liverpool are a team in form, and of course they know that Chelsea will be trying to get one back at them, and so they'll be coming for it. For Chelsea, on the other hand, they're going through a crisis off the pitch, and that, regardless of how mentally tough a team can be, does affect players. And the fact that their highest transfer striker in Romelu Lukaku is not bringing in the goals, it's a tough time for Chelsea. But I think they're going to put in a fight. I still think, though, that Liverpool have the slight edge because of the form that they are in, the quality of players that they have, and everything else going for them. So really, really good battle for the neutrals to watch that FA Cup, and really good FA Cup final for the English FA, because that's the kind of two teams that you want to sell in the final. Liverpool playing against Chelsea. European champions playing against contending Premier League champions. So it's a really beautiful, well set up FA Cup final.
I can imagine. Well, let's take a look at Romelu Lukaku. You mentioned him. He is not actually scoring these goals again for Chelsea. What could possibly be the problem?
A lot of things. He has said it's the style of play, but I don't think so. I think also mentally it's him. Because he moved back to Chelsea. He came in and started scoring goals. Then he had that moment of drought, and then he had that interview. All of those things have come together to start affecting him. And once the mind is not there, the body is not there. I mean, even yesterday, he had chances. There was one he had to tap in, and he couldn't put in the back of the net. There was an opportunity to pass. He couldn't. He's just off rhythm with the team. And sometimes those things happen when you are having your own personal fitness issues. Not a bad player, but somehow not a right fit for this Chelsea squad. So really tough struggle for him. I don't see the way forward except he knuckles down, ignores all the noise in the background, and faces the work he has to do. And he has to start from not scoring, but just being a part of the team. It seems like he's on a different rhythm, different wavelength with the rest of the team, and that's where the problem is. If he's getting the opportunities and trying to put them in the back of the net, it's a completely different thing. He just seems to be a pace behind other Chelsea players, and he just needs to catch up.
I can imagine. All right, Tega, let's quickly look at one more story this morning. I mean, with barely a fortnight before the southern Brazilian town of Caxias do Sul plays host to the 2022 Deaflympics, the Kenyan contingent at the Moi International Sports Centre, Kasarani, is leaving nothing to chance And in a bid to keep its athletes in good nick, officials have been putting two and two together to ensure that all facets of the team's training are tip-top well in time. Well, Team Kenya CEO Sylvia Kamau is optimistic about Kenya's prospects in Brazil, adding that all the efforts and grit will not be in vain. Kenya will field men's and women's teams in basketball and handball, as well as golf and athletics. The golf team is composed of 3 players, among them the 2020 Kenya Amateur Match Play champion, Isaac Makoka. Now, previously, before the team playing a joint camp, they have been training on their own. Tega, we're talking about Deaflympics here, and Kenya, one country in Africa, is already preparing ahead.
Yes, so they're preparing ahead. Unfortunately, Kenya has its own issues, and I'm guessing that's why they're pumping the team up. The same issues that plague most African teams, it comes to Kenya. It's basically an afterthought. So if athletes are going to perform, first of all, they have to invest in themselves, push themselves to the limit, build their own CV, and then the country now comes in with whatever they have planned for them. So that's where Kenya's problem is. But the good news is that they already have teams in place, and I think they're going to give it their best. Are they going to come out victorious in every single sport? No. But I think for track, you can say that Kenya will really do the business. With basketball, it's a little questionable, although they have impressed in the past, but they have not won. And I think winning is what they want to do. So that's where the problem is.
I hope they stay winning this time. I mean, it's just around the corner, by the way. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us here, Tega Mojaife, sports analyst, and of course, convener LIS Ladies in Sports.